Hello, hello, mic check, hello.
Recording in progress. Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
Good afternoon, everyone. I, Adil Khan, RS Scholar at the Department of English AMU, welcome you all to day 5 of the GIAN course on culturally empowering teacher training through language and literature. We have with us Professor Yilwal and Professor M. Rizwan Khan in today's panel. We have an engaging schedule lined up for today, comprising 2 lectures, one by Professor Ilwa and one by Professor Rizwan Khan. Before we begin, here are a few announcements. Number 1, participants are kindly requested to keep their questions or comments ready for an engaging discussion at the end of the lecture. Number 2, at the end of today's session, there will be a mandatory test based on the lectures delivered. The test link will be shared on the WhatsApp group. You may attempt it anytime before midnight. The test will be graded and the results will be reflected in your course certificate. Let us now begin the academic proceedings. I'm delighted to invite Professor Ilwa for our lecture titled Innovation in Educational Everyday Life Through Future of Literacy. Welcome, madam.
Well, I have adapted to the Indian educational style, and that is that we change everything the day before. So we have a schedule, and then everything is turned upside down. And so I have, taken my freedom and the liberty also to change then. So I'm not at all going to do what Adil said right now. I'm going to have a workshop with you again. And it's based on what we were discussing yesterday. And it has been so interesting. Before you came here after tea, I've been discussing a little with the people in the room, and we were discussing the fact that, okay, but what do we do in India with teacher competence development? and how can that be organized? And we spoke about the fact that teachers often are alone in their classrooms. And yes, okay, take a minute and think about teacher development in India, and I will just do some technical issues here. Yeah, maybe. Can I be there? No, it's okay. Can be there. Yeah. Okay. Do you hear me well? Yes. So now I'm equipped like a cyborg. Now we're speaking about organizing teaching development. That is also something that is difficult to do. I don't know what actually happened here during the pandemic, because you needed to go very fast remote, as all of us really needed to do in Sweden. So if you're interested, I have one article on this very specific moment in Sweden during 3 months, where they prepared and also went to remote teaching very fast. And this article I have entitled it Teacher as Innovator. Teacher as Innovator. Because we seldom think about the teacher profession as innovation, as a creative profession. We are taught to do the same. And we are also, when we come out in the classrooms, we sort of adapt and adopt the traditional ways of doing. So we forget that teaching and education needs to be continuously updated and developed so that we are in line with what is happening in society. Because what will happen otherwise? Well, the student, they do not understand why should they learn? Why should they care for education if they don't see the value of it and if it's not justified? So we were discussing this, and we sort of found a solution, and what we also have done in Sweden is that we have these early adopters. They are everywhere, but we need to identify them. Those who are interested in new ways of teaching, new pedagogies, and also to invent together with the new technology that we have around us. So we need to focus on these persons and then invite creators to work together. Maybe lunch seminars, hands-on workshops, and also we were discussing co-teaching, co-planning, so that teachers are not left alone in their classrooms. This is the way forward. At least this is my view. But let us dive into today's subject. So today we will work with futures literacy. So we will work with your imagination, your capacity to imagine the future. Sometimes when I present these kind of workshops, people say that, well, it's stupid, it's childish, it's only, it's not serious to engage with futures because we do not know anything about it. Yes, but I think that we are at a tipping point where we begin to understand that there are people out there in very powerful positions deciding about the future and shaping it in very forceful ways. And do we, as teachers and educators, do we want to be in that conversation? I think so, because it's about our working conditions and it is about the children and the students that we are responsible for. So do I have it? Yes. So I would just like before we start, so we have a workshop, a workshop day, because this workshop is going, you're going to produce something during this day. And it's a postcard from the future. But this is not anything that you can do by just clicking something. You need to work for it. So here on workshop, at the end of the workshop, you will post your individual postcard here. But before that, we will work together in small groups. So I might need you to rearrange a little bit the room, but we will go step by step, okay? So everyone has the code and everything. I see there is one on the phone now, so I will wait. It's okay? Are you ready? I can switch. Yes. It's okay? Even over there? Yeah. Let's go. So before we dive into futures, I just want to present you two different futures, different ways of approaching imaginaries of futures. Around us, we have a lot of promissory imaginaries of what technology can do for us in education. For example, the other day I asked ChatGPT, can you transcribe an audio file from a conversation that I have recorded? And the ChatGPT, what did it say? Of course I can. Just post it and I will do it. So I did so. And what did the ChatGPT say? Thank you so much, but you have to install another application, I don't know, Whisper, blah, blah, blah. Actually, it promised me something that wasn't not really that. And this is what we see, these discourses surround all the technologies that we have around us. And so it's a promissory imaginaries, but we also have inevitable imaginaries, often coming from political positions and reports. For example, in Sweden right now, we have the AI Commission. What does the AI Commission say? It says that in Sweden, we must push really hard for the AI technology. We must seize the opportunities. Otherwise, we will fail in the global race of the AI development right now. So there we are. It's an inevitable imaginary about the future. If we do not engage with AI, we will fall behind. Maybe it's not a catastrophe. Maybe it's not like that. But these imaginaries are very forceful since they come from above and we struggle to escape them. But even though we cannot escape them, we can perhaps alter them so that they work with what we see before us. When I have been working with the upper secondary school students in their collaborative writing about futures with AI, we have very much discussed dystopian imaginaries and utopian imaginaries. These imaginaries are frequent in science fiction, and mostly we see dystopian imaginaries. But what is so important when we think about futures, if we want them to be credible, you were speaking yesterday with Rizwan Khan about verisimilitude, for example, then we need to take into account that in our present, there are a very dark side, but we also have very bright sides. And it will always be like that. And even in the future, we will have solved certain problems for sure. But there will be new problems that we don't know about. So this is interesting. How can we actually illustrate and represent this complexity? And I would also like to present activist imaginaries. What is that? Well, it is in future studies. It is particularly an author called Inayatullah, and she has worked with futures in order to improve and make a difference in the future. So only what can be improved, the betterment of society in the future. So then, for example, she has been looking at the situation of women in the world, and how can that be different in the future, and always together with technologies. So that is activist, because you have an idea already in the present of how you want the future to be, so how you strive for that. And then finally, what I find most interesting is actually the exploratory imaginaries, where we do not set all these boundaries, where we try to open our minds and try to be creative, to let our imaginary flow. These are rare, those moments where we actually have the possibility to do that in education. And also just as an experiment to see what will come up. Because actually when we let our imagination free, we also unfold our assumptions, our ideologies, who we are. So we expose ourselves also. But let us be courageous today and do that. So I would like you to take maybe not 15 minutes, but just 10 minutes to start to discuss with your neighbor how you see everyday life, where you live. I mean, you come from different places in 2045. It's like 20 years from now. It's very close. It's near future. And at the same time, as we said the other day, in less than 10 years, we have seen extreme changes in the world. And here I have focused on reading and writing, since this is something that you can have a consensus around, you have an interest in this, but maybe you would like to focus more clearly on language issues, on literature as such, drawing from the discussions about the literary canon from yesterday, or something like that. Do that, you're free. But I know that your disciplines and your interests are more or less the same. So which skills are important then in this future? So try to imagine a precise situation and make your vision explicit. So I give you 10 minutes now to speak with your neighbors, and then we will go further with the workshop. Okay? And I will walk around. With the next maybe keep this.
I want all your kids. And other person as well. So you just creating an algorithm.
Yes.
That
Yes, we can.
and the other things as well is a different for you.
To speak on it. So, how is the week? Have you made it? It's interesting. It's perhaps new to you. this way of thinking. Yes. But the way of trying to imagine something in a precise way to see, I don't know, when will you graduate? What will you do afterwards? And, to see this before you, what will you think? Will you have, what is important? So, for example, yesterday I watched a documentary on Swedish young people, and they don't want to have a family anymore. We have the lowest rate of birth in Sweden since ever. So what is this a symptom of? It's about there is no security in society. And it's also difficult to raise children in this complex society where we are. Yes, apparently this having a family is no longer an objective. So then you will meet this generation. What is the generation after you? What will happen?
If somebody sees the book, he will be like, what is one thing I'm taking?
Do you think that will happen?
I like completely years like some other transformations may take place like before the COVID managed to mention. So that we have never like not imagined that food class will be in online, in online from offline.
Yes.
We have to imagine like this kind of thing.
Yeah.
What would make it possible? That sometimes the chances are that we have this case of 50 we can make some kind of make if the world is running behind it. Made a target like it. And after the World War II, we can see for the world.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Will see greatest like that and take his greatest. Sit down like that, will work like that, will able to each others will be, I think, has pros and cons. Pros that it is less
Yes. You don't have to have me here, talk all that.
but the biggest demerit of this thing is that it will create unemployment.
It will create what?
Unemployment.
Unemployment.
Because teachers will not be needed, recruits are already there. It will create frustration.
But you must think that this kind of, if it gets too instrumental, I mean, what you are discussing there is a dream that the big tech. Yes, it's already there.
These are getting credited to all parts. These are coming under them.
Yes.
And now they like for degree, they make out business company.
But there is also a counter movement in education.
It means we have a digital like they are good for it. We
Yes, definitely.
technology now to be created and like we have AI now. Maybe we have something that is more generated that is more complex that is more dynamic than AI. So I don't feel like I'm creating something for it.
And I think it's going to not create, it must be a very solid for create. It will not be paid, but they should. This course is there will be a new color of people that that will be ready to it. But we see conversation right now. People are waiting.
I completely, you are speaking about this automation that we are replaced but and that's correct. There are studies on that we can see this kind of replacement, but there is also something else is happening with this. There are huge fundamental transformations in society, but we also can see that new employments are happening and we need to be human beings.
Today, this developing countries like US and UK or these developing countries, they are putting us back. There is technology reason or political reason, but the reason is that machines are taking place of the person that people are working here. Robots are working here, machines are AI. These are working here, and they would see now. Spent so much time here, and now they are deported back.
But this is because,
Because
if I cannot interrupt you, this is because of the nationalist movement in the whole world right now.
that is same.
Basically, what it has two national things. We have our people going to we have our people doing people outside of nation.
Because why it was here before that? Why they were actually people get because they don't have this technology that was everywhere. Now the technology is so much advanced. They don't now need people who are working there quite long time. And
I,
it has
I,
political.
yes,
It is
I don't think that is not the main reason. It's actually that it is yes that you are not from here. In America, it's really because you are not originally American, and you should not be that. So it's an immigration. Yes. Yes, but we also have Harvard University. It's the most prestigious university in the US, the most, the richest one. And this university has taken a stand and said that we will stay with our principles. And that is diversity and people included, and we need to have these different cultures and languages and so on. So I don't think it's because the US do not need these people. It's just a political thing. That's all right, as you say. And this, but here you have something for the future. You can.
Those countries that are led by these sort of countries now are including the fact that now they they are much more competitive. They don't so something that
But I don't think that it's technology in the first place that is yes. Yes. But these are so interesting questions, and I mean, here you go. You have a challenge. What do we do with this? Because this has also, as you say, has much to do with education. What do we need to know in education? How can we work across borders to teach this nationalist hybrid technologist situation in the future? What do you see before you? Yes, I think
so. We go almost there. Will create jobs. I think
like it's like a single famous overall let's be careful now like it will be get whole things right now we are see like people see like they are doing it for this public shift from like that amount of time it was to close but yes in that it was to be but how far like you see like now it will because all the education gets affected how far like now it will be the upbringing of students you know the quality of like now the mindset the exposure.
But I think that you're onto something there. What is, I mean, the quality of education, the human being. What is it that you know that can be a counter movement to what you see now? So you have something really interesting. I'm looking forward for the next step. Thank you. Okay, easily 50 minutes on this one. Thank you so much. So now we're moving into the next phase, and we will need to rearrange the room. So I don't know, maybe I think that 4 people in each group will be quite sufficient. But if anyone is left, I mean, we just, see to that we have enough rooms. But as far as I can see here, approximately like 8 groups, perhaps 7, I don't know. So please, where do I have it? In the next phase, we will have 3 teams. So I will show you 2 slides. So about, I think 4 persons will be enough because you have so much to say so that everyone can be heard. So what you do first in your group is that you need to invent a character. I mean, it can be someone, can be the pupil, the student, the teacher, the parent, I don't know, maybe a shopkeeper, watching all these other characters passing by, something, and that you can sort of ground your scenario in. And then theme 1, when you have your characters, you will create an environment and surroundings in this future. And I suggest that perhaps 10, 20 years in the near future is sufficient, because otherwise it can become, completely fantasist. So in this theme, you will think about what is in the character surroundings, and what is education, what is happening in society. So these are just suggestions of questions, but you can elaborate from that. So what is reading and writing in this environment? How is it done? And what types of text and text formats? How do you learn? How do you get knowledge? So you think about that during 15 minutes approximately, and I will sort of, now you need to move to the next theme, and then we go to theme number 2. And here you will discuss attitudes, abilities, and habits. So we will sort of try to imagine the everyday life of the future regarding what we do, how we read and write, and also our attitudes. Do we like reading? Is it something that we try to find space and time for, or is it not there at all? Or how is it done? And also, what skills and abilities are important in this society? What a successful person in this future society, what that people need to know. And what do teachers do, or other actors? What do they do in this society to encourage students, to help students to become participant in future society? And perhaps you can also discuss successes and challenges that the characters that you have invented, that they have in this future society. So this is also 15 minutes, and then I have a last theme. So here you have like 45 minutes where you will discuss together the relationships and the networks in these future surroundings. So who collaborate with who? Which relationships are important? And what role do teachers play in the lives of students? What do parents, librarians perhaps, or other actors in the students' lives? What are their roles? So we start here. But before we start, we need to rearrange the room. So can you help me so that you are 4 people approximately in each group? So here we go. We can make a group here, perhaps quite easily. If we take just one share, you can make maybe you can have a group here. Will you take a group here? We can have a group here if you want to, like 4 people, I suppose. But it's not possible. Come here. You have a group here. It's so easy for you here. You will be much more comfortable, okay? So, please come.
You know. It's.
Yeah, the first one is a character. Why would you try to imagine the character that is understanding of maybe somebody who has that doesn't matter. You have creative writer. Yes.
What will you do? What is like, how?
Not really yes. Every single thing. I don't know. And they speak about this. Maybe they would talk about, oh, how good this come. I will have to start. I think something really right in terms of to say thank you. Thank you, this person, so that we have these opportunities. And this problem has been solved. That is something we do mistaken. So in this work, you discuss together, so then you figure out yes, we need to like need to get there. Like, for example, the writer who is how has he learned to write? And now will they be when students read it, and why is it reading? Why is it writing? I think it's very good that we have to stop it. Don't make it okay. You're all, just if I was late. Okay. You went with me. Because I think it's together with some guys over there. No, you don't. It's okay to be with us. Because what we are doing now is we're creating future technologies. So together, doing this stuff, like how to go. Next way, yes. try to make experience. What is different, what is similar to what they have now. Yeah, okay, maybe that close, but I can't answer it. Maybe here. Maybe here there are few people. Here, you have some new course. Can we come back? Okay. Thank you. Yes, I think we can keep. Yes. Well, yes, so this yes, but in once because we first start with the environment, the character first of all, and then we will work down to the environment and try to or like everybody tries to about their own character. I think that you should speak about some characters you want to if that is that would be nice. Like that, we have to create a situation that she to get that you have to bring up the environment. How we are creating the environment, are creating impact on the environment, like that. How you picture how far the child, what kind of situation of everyday life is how you react. Yes, and then you need to describe what is in there around them. How do they shop? How do they read? How do they educate? A relationship. We have one the 30 such relationship. So the network around these houses and so on. So the idea is that you take one thing at a time so that you can make it. Okay. So I need to know. You need to know what is the name and what is it going to look like. So you have a common consensus about that. Because afterwards you will write your own first part. So individual foundation everything. You manage?
Next level of some can join so the main part can get which is
Some of these things have been contested in the remote teaching. I mean, in Sweden, it's like that. In some the teacher was there in the classroom, screening everything out to the students. So that they might not
but I am imagining the case of India.
Yeah.
What's good? Yes, thinking about the kind of technologies we have, and how it's going to put there is a population of technologies that have slowly, for example, Sweden. So everyone will have access to VR technology for that matter. Some may have may not happen. So I can join the physical environment.
That is great. This is important thing also. You point to injustices and the uneven distribution of technologies in the country and how they work.
This injustice, I would call this the reality of Indian education.
Yes, but you think the
I would think it's the reality because we have a large population. So not everyone is obviously going to have the same kind of things. That is okay. That is okay. That's how they do it. How we interact in the class. I don't think there's not a very drastic change. Suddenly change from media. But what I foresee here is the hub of because we have power data. What we like because data and interaction and connectivity keep us in the right now. We have the largest users now and we are building technology. I believe those control the internet.
Yeah, I mean, this could be, you could maybe also, that could be the beginning of a new political shift.
Yes.
And you have Indian people that is in Hyderabad, Bangalore. I mean, we often engage people in India for Volvo, for our cars, other companies.
There's an area called quantum computing. Right. Yes. We don't know what happens in the quantum computing since we are right. So because they can have possibilities that you can quantum mechanics, right? You can exist doing this. So class is a very fertile discussing. I cannot say anything about it.
We are now in this room, we are allowed to imagine anything and constantly to think about that. It's completely yes, it is brain blowing. But what we see is that China has most of the resources right now regarding quantum technology. After that is US. We have Germany, France is coming after that, but maybe India is possibly.
Yes, we invest in semiconductor industry, right? Because the government realized that we don't have any semiconductor manufacturing. And the only reason China is ahead of everyone because they have semiconductor. So we need to come with that manufacture semiconductors because processors is in Taiwan, was in Taiwan. So the whole idea about food control over I think it's not very hard to imagine how it turns out, but there will also be.
But you can stay with trouble there. You can stay with this question and try to brainstorm what could the consequences, the positive and negative effect be of quantum technology is deployed in the Asian world, perhaps before the Western world. What happened? To discuss maybe you can tell me Okay, so we have some of the sort of character. So we made a convenient person to walk around. Like probably not like yeah, just like get everywhere in a snap. Yeah, and also talking about the quality of how the environment surrounding. We thought we might have screen instead of words. Yeah. So also just to serve the nostalgia that we might have to go back to, environment and all that. So we might have something of the sort where we want to stay back in have images or let's say sounds or like that. Yeah. So that we like to just sit somehow in the past and also try to move forward. I've already tried to say flexible. There is no package. I think that's nice text. That's what I was to have a text. I mean, you don't have to class. It's on that. And you already have of the reading experience. There would be more the people would want similar power probably programs according to our understanding or how our how we use interaction. Okay, so yes, what teach in this environment? So they would just guide us outside the line of works and they would just that's also and then okay, I'm looking forward. Oh, you stuck it.
What is
Yes, I mean, in 2020, we got the pandemic. What happened? We take maybe electricity bill. Imagine if you do not have the clean water. Right. We can have a new pandemic in another phase, more dangerous. Some we cannot harm. So what we have done is that we change their behaviors one day to another. Yes. So in 20 years, maybe we have invented something that works better. I mean, if the Max makes movie, the science fiction, you take the pen. And then everything is done. You don't need to work for it. Maybe we would have something like that. Or what? Because in the maybe you we think of the future more of collaborating across India. Right? What will happen if they are working with parents and with super high technology as well, right? To open up a little bit to imagination to see what is possible, and also perhaps look at the whole world. When the students at the secondary schools, when they do their future scenarios, they are also having a thought also. It's quite interesting because they they collect the legal other planetary system. I mean, in 20 years, maybe, yesterday they discovered life on a new planet. Or they think that at least they have these signs of life on another planet. This is completely new. So, perhaps in 20 years, we are able to do something well to find new methods, new ways of doing, so that we can have a more a better world. First, I didn't want to come here. I really didn't want to come here. Why? Why didn't I want to come? It was not because I could always, make space in the time. And I of course wanted to meet you. But the pollution to take a flight. So over such a big distance, I mean, this is not sustainable. So transportation must become more sustainable. It's not sustainable today at all. And here, look at the traffic. It's so polluted. So when I went to Taj Mahal the first day, and we took TikTok and everything. So when I came home in the evening, I had such a headache, and I was completely swollen. I was not used to this. There's temperature. Yes, you do.
I have taken up the original writers. How do they see the long before the environment discourse was like important intelligence. But before that, they have to explain gymnasty, confidence towards the future development. So that
That's wonderful. Because we know very little about these novels. I mean, I know that the novels that have been written in the Western world on what is it called now, Dead Spring, no, Silent Spring. Yes, I mean, it's classic. It was early on. And we the research environment in Sweden about eco-criticism and so on. And transportation, going back to transportation, I think really it can be improved, but it's also a question of resources because we know that electric cars need these rare metals that Trump is going to get in Greenland, in Canada, and so on, in Ukraine. It's so to get the genes. And will we be able to work across borders in new ways? How can we, in education, work with the people to see, to make the young people see you can change. You don't need to be in this very unfair and capitalist, individualist way of thinking. You can think of the planet first, because if the planet is not there, your children will not see their needs. And the front is only, I think, about himself, and 1% of the population. Yeah. Can I say something? I was so shocked I didn't say anything. But we were taking the call. And but one person with me here just threw a plastic bag out of the window. And I said, okay, I cannot say anything because then I know this what the scene. Now it was really long. But and I believe in that it's a lot to say. And I see that people just going. You are here. You will be teachers. You will speak with the students. You will teach this kind of literature, and you will show them that this is not correct. This is not what we want for our future. Here we live. You can say no. You can act differently. Yeah. In Sweden, very early on in school, young children, they learn how to take care of the environment. You don't throw things on the street. You take care of your local environment so that it is fresh because we love it's not be fine.
And she goes to that restaurant and it's like that you find you can complain about it. That's because they are there now.
Yeah, that's good. I think I need schools to be. I mean, that is. think I mean, it's fresh. They are, it's. But it's, I mean, interacting. And I think we have lots of that. But of course, I think that there is hospitality here, a friendliness that really, yeah.
One more thing that might help. Architecture.
Very good. Yeah, and so ancient. These things are not done now. This is well, everything. If you walk around it. You know, you know, it's become close to us. So I see the amazing thing. That's very.
That's all trash. I think, you know, sitting in opportunities or read writing, read writing, and that's like.
Basic right.
I have I ended up somehow. It is quite level with this work.
Even if we no, I have it's not, I don't know, actually. I must admit, because, not to call it, yeah, of course, the schools were prestigious private schools, but as far as I know, these schools are for Swedish language, so you have to write in Swedish because the teachers, they are Swedish also.
So I.
Yes, of course, I understand they can write in I'm sure that there are at Stockholm University, writing courses, creative writing courses and environments. I'd love to see it. Well, there is, I mean, I'm working in Swedish French. That's about it. Maybe it does after that. No. There's every step of the United States. Tuition and we got but and then precisely I understand in Danish, and also have my all the time. So Yes, yes, very good question. Yeah. Well, I hope that you are into theme 2 now. So I will sort of bring you to the relationships, the networks, and maybe you are already there, but I see that the scenarios, they are coming into place. And so many interesting discussions about the futures here. So please go on 15 minutes more maximum, and then we will wrap up and we will move into the postcard session. Okay. Thank you. Is it anything? We have different kinds of allergies. Like in my university, we have different kinds of setups. We have the amphitheater with a huge screen in front, and also have the side. So the big amphitheater is 300 person can be there. So it's very and it's great for the big gatherings. So, for example, next Friday, when I receive 150 secondary school students